The day I told people my plan to change my life, I didn't realize I just handed it to strangers to pick apart. It was one harmless sentence. I'm working on something new. Give me a few months. Smiles appeared. Heads nodded. Someone even said, "Proud of you." But their eyes didn't match their words. I mistook curiosity for support. I mistook noise for love. And then things started slipping. Quietly, brutally. One person asked for details a little too eagerly. Another repeated my words with a few extra twists. Suddenly my plan wasn't a plan anymore. It was a rumor. He's leaving. She thinks she's better than us. They're up to something. I kept working, staying humble, staying focused. Yet opportunities fell through like sand in my hands. That's when it hit me. Some seeds don't die from failure. They die from being exposed too early. By the time the rumors started circling, my life already had a weight on it most people never saw. Every morning, I left the house before the sun even decided to show up. Same cracked parking lot, same badge scan, same tired faces pretending they weren't tired. I worked my shift, then worked again after work, learning, saving, building my plan piece by piece like it was fragile glass. Not because I wanted applause, but because my family needed air, needed options, needed a future that didn't feel like a hallway with no doors. At home, I kept it quiet. I'd kiss my kid goodnight and smile like everything was fine. Then I'd sit at the kitchen table with a cheap notebook and a phone on low brightness, fighting sleep while my mind begged me to quit. Some nights I'd stare at my bank balance and feel my stomach drop. Other nights I'd feel that tiny spark, like maybe, just maybe, I wasn't stuck forever. That plan became my private oxygen, my proof that I still had control. So when I finally said it out loud, just once, it wasn't bragging. It was relief. And I didn't understand that relief is exactly what certain people can't stand to see. I should have kept it to myself. But that day, something in me cracked, just a little. We were on break, standing near the vending machines, doing that usual small talk people use to survive the day. Someone asked, "So what's new with you?" And I don't know why I answered. Maybe I wanted to feel seen for once. Maybe I was tired of carrying hope alone. So I said it, carefully, softly, like it didn't matter. I'm working on something, a plan, just trying to change things, quietly. They smiled like it was sweet. "That's awesome," one said. Another laughed, "Look at you, moving up." They sounded supportive, but the air shifted. Their questions came too fast, too sharp. "How much money you got saved? When are you leaving? Who are you doing it with? Is it even real?" I tried to keep it vague. I tried to downplay it, but the more I dodged, the more they leaned in, like my future was a movie trailer they wanted the full plot for. And when the break ended, they went back to their stations, but my words didn't. They stayed behind, hanging in the room, waiting to be repeated by the wrong mouth. By the next morning, it wasn't my plan anymore. It had a new shape, sharper, uglier, built from other people's mouths. I could feel it before anyone said anything. Conversations stopped when I walked up. Smiles showed up late, like they had to remember to pretend. A guy I barely talked to looked me up and down and said, "So you're really leaving us, huh?" I laughed it off. "No, man, I never said that." But he wasn't listening. He was repeating. In the break room, I heard my name. Quiet at first, then louder when they thought I was out of range. "He thinks he's too good for this place. She's got some secret project, probably a scam. He's been asking people to join him." None of it was true. And that's the worst part about rumors. They don't need truth. They just need boredom. They just need envy. They just need one insecure person who can't stand the idea that you might escape the life they accepted. I kept my head down, kept working, tried to act normal, but the story about me was already running faster than I could catch it. 2 days later, the first real blow landed. A calendar invite popped up with no context. Quick check-in, 10 a.m. No subject, no warmth, just that cold corporate tone that makes your stomach drop before you even stand up. When I walked into the office, my manager didn't ask how I was doing. He didn't even look up right away. He slid a paper across the desk and said, "I'm hearing you're planning to leave and that you've been talking to others about it." I actually laughed, quietly, because it sounded so ridiculous. That's not what I said. I'm just working on something after hours. I haven't asked anyone for anything. He leaned back like he'd already decided. "Perception matters," he said. "We can't have distractions." Right there, in that moment, I learned a hard rule. People don't attack your plan when it's strong. They attack it when it's still fragile. And if you're smart, you'll protect fragile things. If you're listening to this and you're building something quietly, don't announce it. Promise yourself you'll speak when it's finished. Drop a comment, silent. I'll know you're one of the disciplined ones. I walked out of that office with my ears ringing, like the building had suddenly gone underwater. On the floor, the machines were still humming, people were still laughing, the day was still moving, yet my world had stopped. My hands kept working on autopilot, but my mind was somewhere else, replaying that sentence, "We can't have distractions," as if my future was a problem, as if hope was a threat. When the shift ended, I sat in my car and didn't start it. I stared at the steering wheel until my eyes burned. Then I practiced my smile in the rearview mirror because I had to go home and act normal. My kid ran to me at the door. My partner asked, "How was your day?" And I swallowed the truth like a stone. That night, the kitchen table felt colder than usual. The plan that used to give me oxygen now felt like a wound I couldn't touch. A week passed, and I tried to convince myself it would blow over. Then I heard it. My plan, coming out of someone else's mouth with their fingerprints all over it. I was walking past the loading dock when I caught my name. 2 coworkers were whispering, and one of them said, "Yeah, he's been trying to recruit people. He thinks he's smarter than everyone." I froze, because I never said that. Not once. Later that day, I saw him, the guy who had asked the most questions, laughing with my manager like they were old friends. He glanced at me and smiled, the same friendly smile he'd used when he said, "That's awesome, I'm proud of you." In that moment, it hit me. He didn't hate me. He just couldn't stand the idea that I might escape the life he made peace with. And I realized something worse than betrayal. I had handed him the map. That night, I made a decision that changed everything. Quietly, without drama. I stopped explaining myself. No more defending my intentions to people who were never going to carry the consequences. No more trying to clear things up with mouths that enjoyed the confusion. I realized something simple. When you argue with a rumor, you give it oxygen. So I went back to the basics. I tightened my routine. I moved in silence. I wrote my goals down where no one could see them. I worked earlier, later, cleaner, like my life depended on it. Because it did. And here's the life-changing part. The moment I stopped seeking validation, I became dangerous in the best way. Focused, unavailable to gossip, untouchable. If you're listening and you've been talking too much about what you're building, don't feel bad. Just level up. From now on, let people hear about your plans from your results. A month later, I didn't win in a loud way. There was no speech, no revenge, just a quiet moment when I looked at my life and realized I'd stopped bleeding energy into the wrong hands. I never confronted him. I never posted about it. I never tried to make people understand. Because here's the truth. The people who misunderstood you on purpose don't deserve your explanation. And the people who truly support you won't require one. That experience taught me a lesson I wish I'd learned earlier. Your plans are sacred when they're small. Speak too soon and you invite opinions from people who won't pay the price, people who feel powerful only when they can shrink your dream. So protect it. Move quietly. Let progress be your language. Let results be your announcement. If you're listening to this and you're building something right now, good. That already puts you above most people. Most people talk. You're the type who finishes.